Hey, I'm Wanda from Alanda Craft, and today I'm going to show you how to organise your fabrics like we do. So when we bring our fabric home, what we do is we fold it in half and then we wind it on to our own mini bolt, which is what I'm going to show you how to make shortly. So as you can see, it's all nice and neat. And we just hold the ends with a couple of quilting clips. Okay, just to hold them in place. Now you can see here how nice and tidy that looks, and it means that we can just pick a fabric when we want it and we don't have to go digging through our stash. So what you're going to need is some foam board, a sheet of foam board, and ours, we're in Australia, so we're on the metric system, so ours is 5mm thick, but if you're in America or some other country that's still on the old imperial system, you'll probably find that it'll be around a 1/4 inch. So we like the foam board, but you can also use core flute. Now when we first started using core flute, we found it really difficult to cut, and we actually used a bandsaw. But we have now learned a method to cut this, and I will show you that. The thing with this, it's also called signboard, but it can tend to be a bit sharp on the edges, so you just need to keep that in mind when you're using the core flute. Okay, so the piece of foam board that I have here is 50cm by 77cm, which equates to around 20 by 30 inches. Now, foam board comes in a variety of sizes, but this size will give me 4 mini bolts. Now, there are companies that will cut it to size for you, but I'm going to show you now how to cut it if you need to. So you can cut your foam board to any size that you want. We're using 10 by 12 because it fits into our storage unit here. So what I'm going to show you is how to cut your foam board. So you'll measure up the size that you want. Now you take your Stanley knife. I've got a Stanley Fat Max here, and I have a new blade in here, nice and sharp. So make sure your blade's sharp. Be careful with your knife, keep your fingers out of the way. Now what you want to do is you need to take just a gentle, not too much pressure on your first cut. Oops. On your first cut, because all you're wanting to do with the first one is to cut through the card. Now sometimes it takes 2, sometimes it takes 3 strokes of the blade. As I've got a new blade, it's come off quite nicely with 2. And here you go. So you end up with that effect. If you don't have a sharp blade, you'll end up with that. So make sure your blade's sharp. So now I'm going to show you how to cut core flute. It's a bit trickier than cutting foam board. It has some grooves in it, and sometimes the knife will want to wander around, so just be very careful. Again, we're taking our first cut, just a light cut to cut through that first layer. And it may take more than 2 attempts as well, 2 or 3 attempts to get right through it. Oh, there we go, we did it in 2 that time. So now I'm going to show you cutting across the grooves. And this definitely is a bit more tricky. So again, just a narrow cut. So you can hear it cutting across the grooves. And again, apply a bit more pressure. And there we go. So we have our core flute cut as well. When you get your quilting fabric home, you'll find generally that it's already folded in half. So what we need to do, if you're going to be using a long bolt, that's fine. You can just fold it straight away onto your bolt. But we're using the mini bolt, so what we need to do is to fold the fabric in half again. Just flatten it out. Take our piece of core flute or foam board, and we just want to wrap our material around the board. So just keeping it fairly firm. Okay. And when we get it round, we're going to take a couple of quilting clips just to hold it in place. And there we are, all nice and neat and ready to be put into our storage unit. Now if you found this tutorial helpful, please give us a thumbs up or subscribe to our channel for more great tips.